Welcome back once more to the WCS America Season 1 Finals. It's all tied up 1-1 between Alive and Revival in this second semifinal. The winner goes on to face Hero. The loser goes on to Korea to play in the global final in a week or two.
You know what I just realized as well, Ben? It's going to be obviously a final between Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses, and I feel that it's been a long time since we had one EG and one Team Liquid play in the final. I mean, I could be wrong, but it could be Season 2, the last time when Hero played against Puma at the NESL. You remember that?
I
Or
do
DreamHack
remember
back then.
that was a pretty storied rivalry,
Yeah.
Hero versus Puma twice.
Yep, back-to-back tournaments.
Back to back. And
I think since then we didn't have any EG versus TL finals.
Hero
anymore.
is just like the mainstay of that Liquid roster. That guy has been so good for so long. He's been so consistent at such a high level. Such an awesome guy. Anyway, Kev, we are on to Neo Planet S for this third map between Alival. Who's going to win? Well, I think it's going to be Alival.
It's a safe prediction there, Ben.
Spotting in the top right-hand corner of Neo Planet S.
That was really not that funny, actually.
It was pretty dumb. His Evil Genius is alive.
And he's sending out a very early SCV actually, Ben, and it's going to be another one. Uh-oh. Man, we just can't get any long games this tournament other than Snoot.
Before we get into that, his opponent in the bottom left, the Blue Zerg player, Evil Genius's Revival.
Are you sure? Are you sure this was not?
We laugh at really dumb stuff, man. I guess there's got to be that one fan out there that just hates us for laughing at stupid stuff.
Oh, not just one, Ben.
These idiots, why do they always do this?
Oh, the Overlord just barely missed the SCVs though. That's of course what's much more important right now. So we will still see Revival just go with that good old hatch first. Now that's not the end of the world. What is going to be more important though, let's see how greedy he will be, Ben. When is he going to throw down that spawning pool? We are at 15 drones right now. Is it going to be this? Or does he want to squeeze out another drone? Or maybe even another one?
Looks like he's going to hold tight on 15, which is the best he can hope for at this point. So
yeah.
15 pool will be going down shortly. The way you deal with this is by never ever underreacting. You got to pull drones. You got to deal with it. You got to keep those bunkers from going up. And you got to buy yourself the time to get your queen, get your zerglings, maybe even finish a spine crawler. Taking this early gas is a little bit dangerous because it means you have less drones mining minerals.
Yep, and also of course speed is not going to kick in on the right moment. What you could do eventually, Ben. This is what I always do if I get bunker rust. I always lose my natural because I can never hold. But then I get a really quick bailing nust. And I
just bust.
Yeah, with slow links on the other side
YOLO!
of the map. But my Zerg, guys, is...
it's pretty next level.
It has some work, but it has some work that needs to be done.
It's pretty next level.
Revival is still completely unaware of this, Ben, but right now the Overlord is heading in. He's like, still nothing? I didn't see anything in natural, so I guess we're just going to see him produce 2 queens immediately and a bunch of Zerglings. He's still mining gas, though.
Revival's got to know. He's making 4 lings already. Here comes the first Marines, and we should see a big drone pool here almost immediately.
I think it's going to be a little rough. I think it's...
Or maybe he's like, no, I don't need to pull drones. I can do this just like...
he's just waiting for until the... I mean, obviously the hatchery can absorb quite some damage, has a lot of HP, 1500, takes a little while for 3 Marines to take it down. But as soon as this bunk is finished, Ben...
Is he going to sack the hatch?
Maybe he's going to do what I do. Throw down bailing gas. No, he stopped mining gas.
This is a nice catch on the SCV, making sure not to grant any vision to the high ground, but I don't think he's going to save the hatch.
I mean, one bunker is something that you can still swarm with a lot of links, but as soon as that second bunker finishes, well, he's actually going to go for a run-by. He might be able to cut off some reinforcements. I have no idea how Revival is going to deal with this.
Oh, I got to say, this isn't looking so good for Revival. As there are 2 completed bunkers on the edge of his creep, 3 Zerglings running past will probably not even kill an SCV.
Well,
I think this has been a little bit mishandled.
We have 16 drones right now. There are 11 links out on the map. He's producing 4 more links. He's going to go with the brute links, perhaps? Nope, that's not going to be it either.
Huh.
I mean, these links that are out on the map are going to do absolutely nothing. Alive's probably quite confused as well. He's like, I'm going to float my Rexes over to the main base because there's something I have to worry about. I just don't know what it is.
Well, I guess I'm just going to go expand, is what Alive is saying.
Well, Alive, we don't know what it is either. And we don't even have Fog of War.
Well, speed is about to finish, so a big speedling run by is something that we have to consider. But
he's
there's a
not
full
mining
wall
gas
at the top of the ramp, so that's not
doesn't.
going to work either. And as soon as those barracks land, you can have a full wall in front of the natural.
There are 4 Marines over there as well, which should be enough to deal with a couple of links that are out on the map. Alive, this is taking. Oh, actually, this could be a little bit dicey for Alive. He just sacrificed his bunkers, man. He should lose all those Marines that are out on the map because there are a lot of speedlings.
Yeah, the problem is he just can't break the wall. He'll never get through the barracks.
Unless it's not a full wall off.
Unless it's not a full wall. If there's a gap in that wall, then Revival might be able to come back here.
Revival did manage to clean up those additional Marines that were still out on the map that were originally in the bunkers. He's going to be able to pick up one SCV that's building the remaining racks, but that is it for now. He hasn't been mining gas for a very long amount of time, so yeah, he's just he's going to play this out like a normal game right now, in which he's economically quite far behind.
Yep, down in workers, down a base. It's still not impossible to make something happen here. There are lots of 2-base all-ins that are possible, but he's going to go ahead and take a third hatch, it looks like.
And certainly because there is a third command center on the way for Alive as well. This means that Alive's real tech is slowed down quite a bit as well. There's no stim on the way, there's no combat shield, there's not even a factory down. So, okay, factory goes down right now. So yes, Revival has quite a bit of time to still make something happen. But this is not the opening that you wish for as a Zerg player.
Certainly not. Certainly not. But you know, it's not over. It's never over.
I mean, what he does have is freedom to take that third base a little bit quicker because he has a bunch of speedlings out on the map and the Hellions are late.
Does have the luxury of map control. It's going to be a long time before Alive can really poke out. He's not going to have stim for a while. He's not going to have combat shields. Won't have any 1-1 upgrades or anything like that.
And there are 21 speedlings out on the map, so this is not the phase of the game where you want to send out 2 Hellions at a time and see what those 2 Hellions can achieve, because 2 Hellions are going to do absolutely nothing. I would say you're going to need at least 6 Hellions to deal with 26 links. I mean, maybe 4 if you're...
I mean, bare minimum. But I mean, even beyond that, it's just dangerous to lift your wall at this point because you don't know what's waiting behind the fog of war. Is it a bunch of roaches and banelings? Is it
certainly not on a map like Neoplanet S, where winter is coming.
Winter is here on Neoplanet S. Right? Scan goes down, but doesn't spot anything up in the main base. All the tech, or what little tech that there is down in the natural, looks like it's going to be perhaps a roach baneling follow-up.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it just feels like he needs that to deal with any additional follow-up pushes. Of course, Revival doesn't know if this... Okay, he does know right now that it's the third command center because he spotted it with the Overlord. I guess he's just making some safety units. First C-check is in production. Alive is probably quite worried about it, boss.
Yeah, that choice to go tank is really smart, I think. Baneling Bust, one of the things that you have to be mindful of. Okay, when you're really ahead, you always have to ask yourself, okay, what am I scared of? Looks like Alive going down his checklist says, well, a Baneling Bust is something that could still be a threat, so let's get a couple tanks out.
I mean, it's hard to blow up a couple of Rexes, but most of those Rexes have gone to the main base right now. C-Tank is in excellent position, so Alive is fine. He's going to slowly but steady see what's out there, what's on the other side of the wall. You have to be careful.
Oh, squish.
It's the wall. The wall's not something you really want to leave, man.
You never know what's waiting beyond the wall, Kevin.
Everybody you know is flying that Viking.
Is it Jack Reacher?
Yes. It's Tom Cruise. He's back. 60 drones right now for Revival. Revival's been doing a really good job, man, at droning up. Of course, those speedlings gave Alive something to worry about, but Revival just went very hard macro mode behind this. 2 evolution chambers are on the way now as well. His creep spread is definitely going good as well, and it should take a little while before he actually starts losing creep tumors. Burrows being researched. Might see some cool Baneling Burrows play. I would love that.
Burrow Baneling is a great way to kind of claw yourself back into a game, certainly when you're playing against Bio. You know, walking over a couple Baneling landmines can thin out your numbers rapidly. Spire also going down, so maybe we'll see some Muta play.
Good old Mutaling. We do have a Roach one, but that could just be in case he had to deal with a crazy amount of Hellions or even a Hellbat drop. And he only has 4 Roaches, and after that he stopped producing Roaches. Alive is going to move out for the first time, or at least he thought about it. I actually kind of like how this is playing out for Revival. If he can get a good first fight, I would say anything is still possible. He's 67 drones against 50 SCVs.
I mean, one of the universal rules of Zerg versus Terran is if you can crush that first army, then anything's possible. So Revival still has that sort of that kind of logic to fall back on. If he can get that one good fight, then maybe, just maybe.
He has only made drones so far, Ben, so he's really going to have to start producing some units real soon, as right now if Alive wouldn't march across the map, there's absolutely nothing to deal with that. And look at that creep spread, by the way. Alive can't be happy with that. He's like, man, so much for my early game efforts. There is creep knocking on my front door.
Yeah, that's excellent creep spread, given the way this game started out. We do see some Marines moving forward. They're going to try to deny some of that. Probably going to see a scan get it on as well. There's a small drop in the bottom of the map.
Yep,
Zerglings and Roaches are in position.
A couple of Lings and Roaches there, a couple of Banelings are wiggling in right now. Okay, they don't have to wiggle anymore. They start rolling as Bailing Speed did just finish up.
Hashtag roll out. Here comes some Banelings up into this expansion at the top of the map. Not that many SCVs there.
Oh, he will connect with a couple of them. Nice pickup over there.
Burrow a couple. Not gonna happen. Sadness.
A little bit sad.
A little bit.
Still, Revival once more buying more time for himself. This kind of stuff, all these little traits are quite good for him. I love those little Bailing run-bys that we see these days, by the way. You see Sorky almost try it all the time. Rora's trying to do, look at these Bailings, gonna try to roll
What is
in.
up? I'm gonna go back.
I think actually 2 Bailings would have been worth blowing up 3 depots.
We would have killed 3 depots and 3 SCVs.
That's pretty cost effective. Tom Cruise still doing work in the natural of Alive. Killed 4 overlords so far.
Tom Cruise always picks on defenseless overlords. Man. It's just like he's just a big playground bully. Is what
Tom Cruise is not very big himself, man.
More scanning and creep dispersal going down.
Revival has plenty of Zerglings over there, but I do like that Alive is taking care of the creep threat because it was getting out of control. Bailings are going to try to wiggle in once more. They're actually burrowing, but I think Alive saw it. Well, actually, I think Tom Cruise just flew away, so Tom Cruise did not see it. Mueller is going to pick up.
No! Why are
the
you down there all by yourself, man?
He got dropped, man. He was a prisoner of war.
Rejected by the medevac pilot. But she got shot down too, so that's okay.
Mueller's going to try to fly into the natural expand right now of Alive. They will pick up a handful of FCVs and start working on these Muse as well. As long as Revival buys more and more time for himself, his superior economy should kick in. And I really like his creep threat. He's renewing creep tumors left and right, bringing out the queen once more. I really like what we're seeing so far.
It's truly incredible what great creep spread does for you. It makes Terran play so scared. You really cannot afford to overextend on creep as a Terran player.
It was very unfortunate when Alive scanned earlier in this game. He missed 1 creep tumor barely, so that creep will always be there. That's like the worst thing that could happen as a Terran player.
Get out of here, Tom Cruise. As actually Revival wants to go ahead and commit to a fight here. He's going to be running into a lot of siege tanks. This is a little bit over-eager.
Yeah, he doesn't really have to do that. The Viking is still alive. The middle is working on that medevac. That's Viking.
Seriously?
Look!
This is unacceptable.
Alright, that goes gone. He served well though. Mutalisk and Bane is connecting once more with a couple of Marines, but there are a handful of siege tanks and Alive has a lot of siege tanks to fall back on, so I like what we're seeing so far. There's a bunker there as well, Misator is going up. Alive is putting himself in a good defensive position, but after all, this is 3 base Terran against 4 base Zerg, man.
Revival has really clawed his way back into this thing. 185 supply for our Zerg player against 180 of Terran. And well, neither player really sitting on a big bank, so if anyone gets a big fight and wins it, you're going to see a decisive advantage.
69 Marines is a crazy amount of Marines though, and the first Wither Mines are in production for Alive now as well. Alive is slightly ahead in upgrades, that could actually play a major role. If he's able to force a fight when he has 2-2 and Revival is still on 1-1, that could be very effective.
Mutas are doing a good job of keeping medevacs sort of off the map. We haven't seen the kind of drop play out of Alive that he's been showing off in some of his previous games, perhaps because of the presence of these Mutalisks.
Yeah, no, there's still a couple of Overlords in good positions. Burrowed Zerglings give a little bit of vision, and that creep threat gives Revival a lot of vision. Mutalisks are going to deal with this as well on the right bottom side of the map. Not before these Marines pick off, well, 2, 3.
2 Mutas for a handful of Marines and a medevac. I'm sure either side's happy with that trade.
Yeah. Still 12 Mutalisks, actually it was 3 Mutas. 12 Mutalisks remaining, was 15 before. That's still good enough to deal with most drops. Oh, Zerglings and Banelings moving in. Most of the tanks are actually on siege. We have a couple of Wither Mines as well. They're not burrowed yet, though.
Banelings going to come crashing in once more. Banelings connecting mostly with siege tanks, and I have
Wither Mines. Oh my God, there's a Wither Mine with 17 kills. That Wither Mine connected big time. It's the left one.
I have to say that I think Revival's Baneling control could use a little bit of work here. It's the second time in as many games that we've seen him connecting Banelings with siege tanks.
There's still Wither Mines over here, left and right as well. That Wither Mine did not actually detonate. These Banelings get a couple of really good connections though. Just a handful of Marines remaining.
Much better connection! Dup!
And that's not a good way to spend 12 minutes.
Sadly, it is not. And a Changeling does not pick up on the burrowed mines either, so now, today I learned.
A couple of Marines on the bottom side of the map. Once more going to take out some creep tumors. Both players are doing a good job at either spreading creep or denying it. I really like how persistent Alive has been in this.
Still, supply-wise, it's quite close. 170 for Revival, 180 for Alive. Could go either way.
Alive is really going to secure Fort Base though, Ben. It's getting 20 minutes in the game. That means that the main base should be pretty much dry, and even the natural of Alive is running a little bit thin because that third base was very late. So a lot of news have been dropped. in the third. And as long as Revival can deny this fourth base, eventually he should go way ahead.
Gotta say, losing all those Mutilisks is very, very painful. It makes it much harder for Revival to deal with this drop play. But Widow Mines are very much exposed here. And
reasonable connections on these two mines.
I'm so scared right now. There's a lot more Widow Mines behind that, but they're not going to be connecting with anything.
And Alive is maxed out right now. Revive was only at 165 supply. He does have a lot of money. I guess he's perhaps saving and waiting a little bit for Ultralisk. But we all know what always happens right before Zerg waits for Ultralisk, man. Somehow they lose 3 bases.
Somehow they lose 3 bases to a massive Terran push and drops everywhere. We do see Medivacs moving in 2 points on the map. Back at the third base is mostly going to be shut down by Static D. The back of the Natural also pretty well handled. The big Terran push, the brunt of that attack starting to materialize as well, bearing down on the 4th expansion of Revival.
Revival has 3 Ultralisk in production right now, 3-3 upgrades as well. Ooh, those Medivacs getting a little too far forward. He actually might lose a lot of these Medivacs.
Oh, those are really good fungals, really good connections on the bio as well. Baneling's doing some serious work. The speed gets activated, but a lot of these Medivacs are going to end up dying. That's a phenomenal fight for Revival, exactly what he needed.
And he will buy time for Ultralisk without losing 3 bases. Now that's the first.
This is a new turn in the metagame. Ultras are out, and Ling's frantically trying to deal with this drop play, and Alive seemingly not paying as much attention as we used to
On
see.
the right side of the map as well, we have a couple of Lings being really annoying, still denying that 4th base from Alive. Alive will send some reinforcement at the same time.
Big
Great
fight outside
fungal.
the 4th base. We need to. The Ultras are going to turn this back. Medivac's very, very low on health, but they are going to fly away. Ultras still wanting to take a bite out of some Terran, but
They just want to absorb the Widow Mines. They like the way it feels.
need to get
Tickle me, tickle me.
the strange desires of the Ultralisk. These two guys are going to go back home and.
Or maybe they just love pain. Man,
Terran,
Alive is starting to get really broke, by the way, man. He really needs to mine from that 4th base. A lot of Lings are going to try to attack that planetary fortress once more. There is a Widow Mine, though.
Zergling's working on that expansion. I think they're going to kill it before it's able to morph if it does not lift up. Meanwhile, Ultras,
God,
Lings,
that's so
Roaches
good.
all pushing for that command center does lift. It might burn down before it can get repaired, though, as Revival's being very active at 2 sides of the map at once. Excellent play from Revival. I cannot believe that he's clawed his way back into this game. That command center is going to burn down. A huge pickup for Revival.
That's massive. That's absolutely massive. He's still killing units on the north side of the map as well, and Alive is starting to get so broke. He is basically down to 1 mining base right now. Now, that was 5 Banelings and 1 Marauder.
Revival just doesn't micro his Baneling. It just doesn't happen. It's against his play style, but that's okay when you got this many Ultras and Zerglings crushing through the Terran army. 120 supply remains for the Terran player, 180 Zerg supply on the map right now. This Ultra doing some serious work is not going to go down, staying alive. Finally, a Marauder picks him up, but the swarm of Zerg is overwhelming. Baneling's being morphed right in the face of Alive. I cannot believe it. He somehow came back after losing his natural to the early bunker rush. The 2 racks play. GG gets called. Revival goes up 2-1.
How often do you see that, Ben? You as a Zerg player.
Never. It is so seldom. And we were sitting here scratching our heads. What is he doing? Why isn't he going? Why isn't he going? And he just sat back. He gave up the hatchery. It looked terrible. But I'm not really sure what Alive did wrong there. Maybe he was overly passive?
He was quite passive, but that's of course because of his build order. Do you think that if Terran has that early game and is able to slow Zerg down so much, do you think that it would be much better to just put on aggression all the time, so you force Zerg to make units
maybe
rather
just
than
take gas and continue to 1 base?
Yeah, like, no, or 2 bases. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 2 bases, but he went for a triple orbital, which of course slows you down quite a bit.
Yeah, really interesting. I'd love to hear some of the opinions of our Terran players out there, so please tweet at us. Hashtag WCS for your chance at a Heart of the Swarm Collector's Edition at Rotterdam08 at Mr. Bitter TV. We'd love to hear your thoughts as
At
to,
MLG, at StarCraft,
and at Axel Toss and Axlab.
at Instagram, hashtag no filter.
It's at IS Axlab
Yes, that's correct.
and at Root Axel Toss.
Now, I really think in a situation like this, the good old logic of force Zerg to make units so they don't have that much larva makes a lot of
I
sense.
think so too.
I mean, this was a really great economical harass early game, but if you then just say like, hey, Revival, for the next 9 minutes you are able to drone up freely, well, Revival is like, alright, let me go back to 74 drones and then I'll make some units again.
No. Very impressively, Revival goes up 2-1. Guys, we're going to head into another short break. When we get back, it'll be Star Station and more WCS America Season 1 Finals.